How did Britain defeat the Zeppelin, the world's first strategic bomber? At the outbreak of the First World War in 1914, Britain possessed only about 90 military aircraft, primarily used for reconnaissance. Yet their formidable combat potential was already envisioned. Airfields like Stowe Mares were simple affairs, grass strips with scattered buildings and tents. England itself was not perceived as under air threat, with airfields geared more towards training and logistics, not home defense. However, German forces quickly realized the destructive potential of aerial warfare. They began employing not only airplanes, but also colossal airships, most famously the Zeppelins, dubbed Titans of the Sky. The Germans initiated their bombing campaign against British cities in January 1915. On September 8, 1915, a Zeppelin raid devastated London, striking Lincoln's Inn and causing significant damage. While Germans hoped to create panic, many people were fascinated, turning Zeppelin spotting into a spectator sport. Yet, these raids also provoked fierce anger, earning Zeppelins the nickname "baby killers" and fueling public demand for defense. How could an ill-prepared Britain possibly defend against this new aerial terror? The Zeppelin raids, rather than inducing panic, galvanized the British public. The attacks incensed citizens, leading to a dramatic increase in army recruitment after every raid, a result German commanders never anticipated. Under mounting public pressure, the government was forced to act. Their strategic response was direct: establish a comprehensive home defense network, including new airfields like Great Yarmouth, specifically to disrupt or destroy incoming raids. Stowe Mares' location on the River Blackwater was no accident. This major river served as a navigation aid, allowing German airships to follow it directly towards targets like London. British squadrons were strategically based along these potential bomber routes. Until late 1915, London's air defense was meager, just 3 outdated guns placed on Whitehall buildings. They offered minimal protection to the seat of government, utterly insufficient against the looming Zeppelin threat. By 1916, significant efforts were underway. David Henderson, head of the Royal Flying Corps, oversaw airfield construction, while Admiral Sir Percy Scott implemented gun rings around the capital. Home defense wings were formed, patrolling the skies around London. By 1917, Britain had assembled a formidable air defense system: anti-aircraft guns, searchlights, interceptor aircraft, and a centralized command. Yet despite this comprehensive setup, one crucial element was still missing from the Royal Flying Corps' arsenal. Why, even with this elaborate defense, were Zeppelins proving so difficult to stop? Pilots initially believed that shooting down an enormous Zeppelin with a standard .303 Vickers machine gun would be straightforward. However, the reality of aerial combat against these giant airships proved far more complex than anticipated. The critical problem lay within the Zeppelin's design: a complex structure of multiple hydrogen-filled cells. Standard bullets passing through created only tiny punctures, leading to extremely slow leaks, far too small to make a real difference. The sheer scale of these hydrogen cells, compared to a small .303 round, meant normal bullets simply weren't man enough for the job. You could riddle a Zeppelin with holes, and it would remain airborne, slowly deflating. An experiment firing standard ball rounds at a mock hydrogen cell demonstrated this perfectly. After a rapid burst, the Zeppelin tent remained intact, with only small tears in the fabric, confirming ball ammunition was ineffective. The tide turned with the invention of the incendiary round. This revolutionary bullet contained a burning element spitting sparks. It didn't just puncture, it provided an ignition source, crucial for igniting highly flammable hydrogen. The difference was night and day. When incendiary rounds were fired at the mock hydrogen cell, the result was a dramatic explosion, a visible shockwave. This was the precise ignition source needed to defeat the Zeppelins. How quickly could this revolutionary new technology be deployed to turn the tide against the enemy? With the successful development of incendiary bullets, the Royal Flying Corps rapidly deployed this vital new ammunition to their home defense squadrons. Pilots were finally equipped with the means to effectively counter the Zeppelin threat. The impact was swift and devastating. British pilots, now with incendiary rounds, became incredibly effective. The once invincible Zeppelins were transformed into hydrogen-filled death traps, exploding in fiery spectacles across the night sky. One notable leader was Claude Ridley, the young commanding officer at Stowe Mares, whose valorous efforts against Zeppelin raids earned him the Military Cross. As incendiary ammunition became widespread, German Zeppelin losses mounted rapidly. By mid-1917, almost half of their entire airship fleet had been destroyed or lost, marking a catastrophic blow to their strategic bombing efforts. The overwhelming British success forced the Germans to abandon their Zeppelin strategy. By mid-1917, they began to predominantly use multi-engine Gotha bombers instead, continuing their aerial attacks, but with a different weapon. The statistics tell a clear story of this strategic shift. In 1916, there were 126 airship raids versus 28 by airplanes. Just 1 year later, 1917 saw only 30 airship raids, drastically overshadowed by 341 airplane raids. What were the lasting implications of this shift for the future of air warfare? By replacing standard bullets with incendiary ones, Britain effectively defeated the world's first strategic bombing campaign. This determined effort laid foundational principles for future air defense, proving that effective countermeasures could halt a novel aerial threat. Stowe-Marie's aerodrome stands as a poignant reminder of this pivotal era. Born out of fear of the Zeppelin, it continued to be relevant, adapting its defenses as the German threat shifted from airships to Gotha bombers. In just 4 years of World War I, aircraft technology underwent a staggering evolution. From simple reconnaissance machines, Britain progressed to producing over 20,000 aircraft, including specialized bombers and agile fighters. Recognizing the profound value of aircraft as weapons of war, just 7 months before the conflict's end in 1918, the Royal Air Force was formed. This marked a monumental shift, establishing air power as an independent, indispensable force. So, how did Britain defeat the Zeppelin, the world's first strategic bomber? Initially unprepared, Britain pioneered the very concept of home air defense, developing a coordinated network of airfields and anti-aircraft systems, crucially innovating with incendiary ammunition to exploit the Zeppelin's hydrogen vulnerability. This decisive victory not only ended the initial bombing campaign, but fundamentally rewrote the future of air warfare.